In previous years, Google's A-series phones offered an affordable alternative to its flagship models, particularly for the Pixel 6a, which offered the important Pixel 6 features in a smaller, more affordable package. The Pixel 7a is attempting the same, except this year it's pushed more into that premium look and feel, and importantly, isn't quite as affordable. But now, because it's older and cheaper, the Pixel 7 actually makes a lot more sense. I'm Cam Bunton from Pocket-lint, and in this video comparison, I'm gonna show you why. So let's talk design first, because it's here I think the latest A-series phone has lost a bit of what makes it appealing, or at least what made the 6a appealing. What I mean is that it's not actually that much smaller than the regular Pixel 7. It's a couple of millimeters shorter, but it's almost the exact same width and is actually a tiny bit thicker. It's lost that small, slim and nimble feel that I liked of the 6a. Because of that thickness and width, it doesn't really feel all that different to the Pixel 7 when you hold it. It's even a similar weight. That's despite the fact that it has a smaller display than the flagship model, and that naturally means the extra width comes from having thicker bezels around the display. It's a shame really, because they really are noticeable compared to the Pixel 7. I'd love to have seen a frame around the display that is the same thickness, then the smaller display would have led to a more compact device. As it stands, it feels like a slightly poorer use of space. On the plus side, it has that same sturdy, durable feel offered by the chunky aluminium frame, and has that more premium looking camera bar across the back, just like the Pixel 7. There's only a slight difference in terms of durability, or more specifically water and dust resistance. Pixel 7a offers IP67 where Pixel 7 is IP68. As far as accidental contact with water goes, both should survive as well as each other. The higher rating on the Pixel 7 just means it's been tested to depths of 1.5 meters for 30 minutes in fresh water. Pixel 7a has been tested at 1 meter depths for the same time. So as far as dropping it in the sink or getting it caught in the rain goes, they'll both be fine. Apart from offering a slightly different range of colours, including the epic coral model, there aren't many more differences on the design front, so let's move on to the displays. Now, as mentioned, the Pixel 7a has a slightly smaller screen than a Pixel 7. It's 6.1 inches versus 6.3. And that's probably the element that makes the most difference when you're looking at them side by side. The extra surface area on the higher end model makes visuals feel a bit more immersive. Otherwise, the displays are relatively similar, at least on paper. Both feature 1080p resolution and both can reach refresh rates up to 90Hz. They aren't identical to look at though, and although the differences aren't in your face obvious, there's definitely a sense that overall the Pixel 7's display is better. The thing I noticed was when the phones were viewed at angles, and it didn't have to be an extreme angle. The Pixel 7 display was always clearer. It's almost as if it's that little bit brighter, and also, like the actual display, sits closer to the surface of the glass. But regardless of the why, the displayed content cuts through any reflections better, and so doesn't just have better viewing angles, but is more easily visible in outdoor daylight. Although neither is free from that colour shift that happens looking at a white screen from an angle, showing pink and blue tones at times. With both of the phone's displays set to adaptive mode, the Pixel 7 also has a more vibrant, saturated look to it. Most of the time that really helps add a bit more pop to your movies and games, but there's a sense that at times that makes red tones a bit too strong. Software is, unsurprisingly, pretty much identical on the two phones. Both use a clean, bloat-free version of the pixelified version of Android 13. Now, there are two areas you'll find the closest similarities when comparing the two phones, at least I did in my testing. That's overall performance and speed and battery life. And this is no surprise really. The two phones have the Tensor G2 processor inside, which is Google's second generation homemade chipset. So when it came to loading games, scrolling through the interface and switching apps, I struggled to see any significant difference between them. Both are pretty smooth, and while not blazing fast, they're quick enough and responsive enough that they don't get in the way. As for battery, if I had to pick one, I would pick the Pixel 7, but there's really not much in this. Without subjecting them to tests comparing the exact same kind of use, it's hard to say for certain, but it did seem generally that it would have a bit more left over at the end of the day. With that said, there's not enough in this to base a decision on. They both have similar capacity batteries at just under 4,400 mAh, and with both featuring the same chipset and similar displays and software, they'll both get to the end of the day with about 30% left over, with my own particular light to moderate usage. Heavy users should just about get to the end of their busiest days as well. Where the Pixel 7 has an advantage is in charging speeds. It's got slightly faster 20-watt wired charging versus 18 on the Pixel 7a, and it's also got faster wireless charging up to 20 watts, where the 7a only delivers 7.5. That means if you get Google's own wireless charging stand, you'll get zippier wireless refills on the higher end model. You can also use reverse wireless charging to top up your earbuds if you have buds that wirelessly charge. Now, one of the best things about any Pixel is the camera. Not necessarily because it has the most impressive specs, but because Google's app and processing capabilities make it really easy to point, shoot, and get a great looking photo. And that's true of both the 7a and the 7. They don't share the same hardware, but it's difficult to tell much of a difference between the two phones' results whether you're looking at the primary lens or the ultra-wide. There's really not much in it. But it does appear that the Pixel 7 has ever so slightly clearer images in most conditions. Although a lot of the time that's really difficult to see with the naked eye. Its larger pixel size does help create this slightly enhanced clarity, but I wouldn't say that the Pixel 7a was noisy at all, and I think for most people it more than does the job. Both phones will give you great images at night time too. With its automatic night mode you can just point and shoot, and the algorithms do the rest, ensuring your photos are sharp, in focus, and blur free. The only thing the Pixel 7a doesn't seem to have is the action mode shots that add those movement effects to moving subjects. Selfie cameras are very similar too, with the Pixel again being one of the best phones for quickly taking a selfie and delivering strong, clean results in any conditions. Images can come out a bit too warm at night, but that's not consistent. Now, the end feeling I have after using both phones is that the Pixel 7 actually makes more sense from a purchasing point of view. Yes, it's more expensive, but because it's been available for a while now, you can find it cheaper than it was at launch. And that means it doesn't cost much more at all than the Pixel 7a. Just as an example, in the UK at the time I made this video, there was only about a £58 difference between them, and for the sake of the extra £58, I think it's absolutely worth spending that bit more to get the better all-round experience. Of course, once the Pixel 7a has been out a while, it will see its own fair share of discounts, and so at that point my opinion might change. And if and when the Pixel 7 discounts aren't as generous, it would make a lot of sense to buy the 7a instead, because it does offer a lot of the same experience, but for less money. I've been Cam. Let me know what you think of these two phones. Which ones have you gone for? Or did you not buy either of them? Let me know in the comments, or you can grab me on Twitter. If you do like this video, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and tap the notification bell, and then you won't miss any more of our uploads.